Well, I guess we're live. So anyway, yeah, that's a little better. I just thought I'm in today and talk about my thoughts on eBay's new INAD policy regarding. I've not experienced it myself because I don't call eBay, but I've heard that people have been hearing the response from eBay reps that when it comes to customers, buyers, shall we say, providing false information regarding item not as described, that eBay just doesn't care. That they are no longer getting involved in that sort of thing, which, you know, I understand that they're not going to get involved anymore. And, here's the truth. The truth is that, and you see it, you hear this a lot. Every little thing that happens with eBay sellers, one little thing a buyer doesn't do exactly the way a seller thinks it should be done, and they're on the phone to eBay. They're on the phone calling eBay. Here's the truth, okay? eBay doesn't care about you. They're a business. They're a corporation. They are they are here to make money, and they don't need us anymore. They don't need us little one-off sellers making their life difficult. They make a lot of money off the big sellers, the really big sellers. They don't need us little guys. The really big sellers are the ones that they're concerned about. Those guys don't cause them any problems. They don't call eBay up every for every little thing and say, hey, blah 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 blah. Our buyers didn't do this, didn't do that. They don't do that. So, here we got noise now. There goes the dogs. You can tell the dogs. So anyway, yeah. So they just don't care. I just don't. I don't think they care. I'm not sure if they ever really did. It costs them a lot of money when we call in all the time. It costs them a bunch of money. They'd rather not have us. Honestly, there is such a thing as having a bad customer, and we as sellers are their customers, as well as the buyers are their customers. But we've been kind of bad sellers. We've kind of been the bad customers. We're the customers that cause them problems, that cause them a lot of issues. They want to be like Amazon. Let's tell the truth. Amazon, doesn't care about you. They don't care about the little sellers selling one or two little things. And they don't have to. And they're a business. They're in it to make money. And we're costing them money. I can't imagine what it must cost them to have all those representatives online to talk to people hours and hours and hours every day about tiniest little infractions that buy. Yeah, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's really big scams. And I get it. I get that. But you know what the big companies do when they get scammed? They eat it. They just eat it. They take the fall for it. They just let it go and that's the thing. I think that's what eBay wants. They want us to just do it, take the understanding that this is a cost of doing business, that dealing with scammers and thieves, shoplifters, and all that stuff like that is a cost of doing business. If you want to prosecute somebody for stealing from you, then it's going to be on you. It's not going to be on eBay. They're going to make it be on you. You're going to have to file the claim. You're going to have to get the police reports. You're going to have to do all the work. You're going to have to take the time and spend the money to go after somebody. And that's just how it is. The free returns are basically the same thing. You want to get rid of INADs? Make it free returns. There are no INADs anymore. Just make it free returns. If you got to eat the cost of return, don't. Just tell the person you don't want the item back, and then you don't have to do the free return. You don't have to pay for the shipping. You probably only paid $1 for the item anyway, or maybe $2 or $3, and you didn't make them very much money on it. So don't waste any more time. Don't get on the phone with eBay and be on the phone with eBay for 5 hours trying to get your $10 or $20 back. It's just not worth your time. It's not worth their time. It's costing them money. It's costing you money. So the truth is that
Sorry.
in and out, in and out, in and out. So yeah, so that's the truth. That's what I think. I actually think that that's what it's all about. It's just about cleaning house. Basically, they're just sweeping out the bad sellers. They're sweeping out the sellers that aren't maybe bad, but are costing them money. You know what I mean? And creating a, let's face it, a lot of people like to make it really hard on buyers. They like to make it really really hard on them to try to make a return. They don't want to, they're not in business. They're they're selling things to people like they're having a yard sale, and they don't expect anybody to ever want to come back. I had people come back for a year later from my yard sale one time and tell me that the extension cords they bought didn't work, and they didn't bring them back with them. You know what I did? I gave them their money back because I didn't care. I wasn't going to waste another minute on it. I just didn't want to deal with it. So I didn't know if they worked or not. I didn't try them. I got them at an auction. I didn't try out all the extension cords to see if they worked. We just put them in the yard sale and they got them. They bought them cheap. I mean, but it didn't matter because buying something cheap or not, if it don't work, then it's it's not really of much use to anybody. So, and I don't know, maybe they did work and maybe they were just pulling something. I don't know, but all I know is I didn't want to have a bad reputation from that. So I gave it back to them, gave them the money back. So, uh, we're running a business here, and if you want to run a business, then there's shrinkage. There's things you're going to lose money on. That's just the way it is. So, the more I thought about it, the more I realized, I once I told you before, I used to have a really big store on eBay. I had over 5,000 items in there, and eBay raised their fees catastrophically for me. I mean, it was going to triple my fees, and I got really disgruntled, very angry, very upset, and I quit. Pretty much the whole deal, except for the free listings. I took all my listings down, and I just ran free listings for a couple years, 2 3 years. Just ran the free listings that you get every month. And you know what? The same time I was quitting, and you may have heard of them, Scavenger Life was just getting started. So they were just getting started, and so they didn't let that get in their way. They didn't even know that was going. They didn't even. I don't think that actually knew that they actually realized that had occurred. So automatic returns and free shipping, I have no problems so far. I've been doing it for 3 months. Yeah, I hear you, man. It's and that's the thing though. That's I there you're focused on your customers, and that's what eBay wants. I don't think they want people calling them all the time. We're costing them money. That's the thing. What you're doing is you're taking care of your customer yourself. You're not, if your customer wants to return something, they just return it. And that's that. And if there's a loss of something, there's a loss. And we get to eat that. And that's it. That's our business. It's our business to do that if we want to do that. If we don't want to do that, we can quit. We can just quit. You know what I mean? We can just get out and be done with it. But here's the deal: if you're thinking you're going to go to Poshmark or Mercari or some other site and it's gonna be different, they're not going to do that. Guess what? They're going to do it. If not right now, they will be doing it sooner or later because this is what customers expect. And if they want to grab market share, they're going to have to do what the customers want, and you're going to have to eat it. That's just the way it's going to be. Right now, maybe not, but soon enough, that's the way it's going to be. So that's the truth. That's the honest truth, in my opinion, about why eBay is doing. They don't want to say that. Obviously, they don't want to say that kind of thing, but by telling them they're not getting involved anymore in INADs and they're pushing in and they want you to do free returns, what else could it be? You know what I mean? What else could it be? It's we're costing them money, and we're not. The bit. I don't want to be preaching. Do I sound like I'm preaching? Good night. I'm gonna here. Wait. I wish I had a little eBay thing. Pretend this says eBay on it. All right, now this here is eBay, and eBay said no. Sorry. Um, Yeah. So that's just the way it is. I went on this morning and I turned free returns on all my listings. I rarely get any returns, but I just turned them all on. Why? Because I want eBay to think of me as a good seller, not as a problem child for them. So Do I like it? Not really. No, not so much. I don't like being forced to do anything. I mean, come on. I'm wearing a Ramon shirt. Do you really think I like having anybody else tell me what to do? You know, there are more interested in rolling out enterprise sized stores rather than smaller. Yeah, that that's just the little stores aren't going to do you any good. I mean, they're not going to. Granted, I mean, you could. I mean, even for example, like Shopify. A lot of people have been talking about doing Shopify with Facebook and all that, but now Facebook's going to be cracking down on ads that are they're going to be cracking down on stores on things through Facebook that are like deceptive or they're not meeting their customers' needs. So all these Shopify stores where people are thinking they can get away with murder, not for much longer. They're not going to get away from murder. Look it up. I mean, look up Shopify and Facebook in the news, and you're going to find out Shopify is going to have to deal with. They're going to have to deal with the people, or Shopify's ads are going to get cut on Facebook. That's huge. That's huge. So Shopify is going to have to step in and start doing something about the problem children within their own network. So uh, that's just the way it is. So I can't really think of anything else to say other than that, except I just wanted to get on and just give my 2 cents on the whole thing. And basically it's this. It's this. eBay knows what's best for the people who are buying on eBay. We may not like it, but let's face the reality. If you're buying on eBay, you want free shipping and you want free returns. So if you're going to sell on eBay, don't you want to do the same thing for others that you expect for yourself? I mean, yeah, sure, you'll pay shipping if you have to, if it's good enough, but if you can find somebody else who's offering free shipping and free returns over the guy who isn't, who are you going to go with? Exactly. So what else is there to say? You know, that's about it. So I just felt the need to just say that. So yeah, heavy items are a problem, Kate. I agree with that. It is scary, you know, more attractive they make it for buyers. Exactly. That's the whole thing. You got to make it attractive for buyers. I'm scared of the heavy items myself, but at the same time, I got to hope that one, I don't get a return. And I usually don't. I rarely have a return. So I'm not that worried about it. And if it is something heavy, I have to weigh it in the balances. Is it worth keeping? Is it worth having it brought back to me, or is it worth just telling the customer, you know what, don't worry about it, and just let it go, and just let it go and go from there. That's what a lot of e-commerce businesses, people are selling online. You buy something from them, and then you get it, and there's something wrong with it. They don't ask for it back. They just send you another one. They don't even ask for the first one back. So that's what people expect. That's sad to say, but that's what people are expecting. They're not trying to scam you. They all say they don't want to deal with returns. They just don't want to deal with returns. They'll return it if they have to, or maybe they won't. Who knows? But exactly, Kathy, that's it. You had returns on for months and barely got any. We had 4 this week so far, so you turned off free returns. I don't know. Maybe it could just be summer months and people. I don't. Who knows? Who knows what it is? It could just be a coincidence. If you went months with no returns or rarely got any, and then you got 4, I don't know. It could be because you turned on free returns and people are more willing to return. Have they actually returned the items? That's the thing. And clothing, that's the other thing. That's where I'd be concerned about free returns. One, I'd be concerned about it because clothing is something people will return. Two, but the other thing to think about with clothing is it doesn't cost that much to ship. So, if doing one out of, I don't know how many items you sell, Kathy, a month, but if you sell 100 items a month and you only return 4 items, that's not a bad return rate. You know what I mean? And think of it this way: you got free returns for these people, these 4 people, and if you hadn't had free returns and they had to pay the return, but that just might piss them off. That just might make them angry. And then they don't favorite your store and they don't come back to your store and buy what they might buy in the future. Shower hooks returned today. They didn't look good. Yeah, you probably got ripped on that one. So and you're gonna have that. That's gonna happen. Try it on Amazon, and look at Amazon. I mean, selling on Amazon and returns on Amazon, sellers are just they got no control. There's nothing you can do there, and you try to fight that stuff, you lose your Amazon account. You know, so and that's it. Look at Amazon stock price, $1,700 today, $1,700 for one share of Amazon. They're killing it. They're killing it on everything. Why? Because of their customer service. Even though their sellers are the ones that are paying it. The problem is a lot of the big sellers, even the big the the guys who do what's that thing called when you call China and you have people trying to make you stuff, and then you send it in. What's it? Private labeling, private labeling. Even those guys, although I don't know what they're going to do with these Chinese tariffs now, so we'll see. Shower curtains, there three were closed. I do think that one. Well, see there you so it could even actually be it could actually be and that's the nice thing. If you have free returns on one of your mistake, the easier you make it for your buyer, the more likely that they're not gonna pop you with negative feedback or something else that's gonna hurt your reputation. So I guess we gotta kind of look at it from that way. That's how I'm looking at it. I gotta kind of look at it from I want free returns. That's why I shop a lot on Amazon because I shop a lot on Amazon because it's simple. It's with you get free shipping if you have Prime, and even if you don't have Prime, you don't even need Prime anymore. A lot of sellers are offering free shipping, and their prices are better than the Prime prices. So you can actually get free shipping anyway. So you know, quit about a year and they can quit about a year and do eBay now. Yeah, eBay's a lot easier. That's what I think. eBay's a lot easier to deal with than Amazon, but don't look for that to stay the same way. I'm thinking eBay's going to start heading in that direction where, I mean, eBay stock is, what, 40 bucks, I think like that, 39, 40 bucks. They're not, and granted, I mean, there's a lot more involved in that stuff but Amazon's just killing that. I mean, and, all across the board. And I think eBay, if they want to survive as a platform, they need to do what they have to do what's best for them. So yeah, there is a problem there with China and them being able to ship over here they don't have to pay anything to ship. Basically, and there's the nice thing about there should be some way because that's they're being subsidized by their government, so they shouldn't be being subsidized. So that's unfair trade practices there. So, but what can you do? You got to deal with it. I'm wondering whether it's getting out to the customers that are getting free returns and are taking advantage of it. They might they might take advantage of the free returns, but at the same time, I don't really sell things that people are actually going to want to return. Yeah, I sell a little bit of clothes, not very much, but that's clothing. I think is big on returns, and electronics I think are big on returns. Neither of which I sell very much of, and that's probably one of the reasons why. Even though there's big money in clothing, and shoes probably. I would think shoes would be something else too, but at the same time, if you sell 100 items a month and you have three returns from people that just wanted to try them on, as long as you don't wreck them, as long as you don't wreck them, then you can resell them, and hopefully the next guy won't return them. So I think we just have to deal with not just this isn't just eBay. This is all across e-commerce. This is a thing that's happening. This isn't 1999 anymore. I mean, you it, it's we got to deal with eBay where they're at as a company, and where e-commerce is as a company. And I'm not offering free returns, so people, yeah, that would kind of stink. And I don't blame you there. You know what I mean? I don't blame you for doing that. So putting out a report card that says how you rank with other sellers on returns. I I don't know if there's yeah, I don't know how like if there's an average. And I don't know if that'd be a really very good way of looking at it anyway, considering, I mean, yeah, if you're dealing with, if you sell a lot of clothing and like they gave you a report card showing, comparing you with, you know, like the other clothing sellers out there and comparing your percentages with other clothing sellers, then that might be helpful to see where you're at. Some of it could be maybe just your, it could just be listing policies, you know, not listing policies, but the stuff the people list. Let's face it, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who list stuff. Hey Cindy, there's a lot of people out there who list stuff that, I mean, if you ever listen to Scavenger Life's early episodes, Jay talks a lot about how when they first got started on eBay, they would sell stuff that, and they would hide things, you know, that had stuff that had holes or stains, where they would hide it and hope that the buyer didn't say anything when they got it, you know. And there's a lot of people out there that do that. I mean, Goodwills do that. I mean, thrift stores do that. They put price stickers over top of defects on items and stuff like that, hoping that nobody will peel the sticker back and look. You know, they'll hide defects and things. So, you know, I had 189 hats in 60 days, only 3 returns, but I'd take at least 12 pictures of. See, yeah, see the 3 returns out of, I don't know, you sold what, 189, or you had 100? I don't know. That's a lot. I mean, and only 3 returns. That's pretty good. You know, so yeah, so you know, that's it, and that's the thing though with Scavenger Life, is they had to learn over time that, you know, they could have lost their account today. And that's what's going to happen, I think, to a lot of people who are thinking that they can get on eBay and this is the Wild West and they're going to be able to just sell a bunch of junk to people and get away with it. It ain't going to work. That's not going to work anymore. Sooner or later, that's they're going to put a stop to that. So you'll lose your account. You sold 189 hats in 60 days. Good night. That's some kicking sales, man. Congratulations on that. That's pretty wild. Hats. I've sold a few hats, not too many. I don't really find ones that I think are too cool. So never sold. I wouldn't even mess with Coach bags because well, I don't know anything about them. Or what's that other Burberry? I don't know much about them. So, you know, there's not. I don't think I'm gonna find a lot of that stuff up here in the mountains. You know, you can't fix. That's right. You can't fix people. You know, and that's the whole thing. And I think that's the pro. That's the thing is, eBay's given us the power to report buyers. We do have that. So, you know, and they're going to be, you know, look at Amazon's doing the same thing right now. They're looking at people and they're actually they're actually removing accounts. They're canceling people's accounts like totally that do that return too many items. So you can look for in the future, if people actually report these guys on eBay, if you actually report bad buyers, you're not going to see anything from it. But if they get enough of that on one buyer, it's gonna start to impact them. So, and maybe if eBay took a better look at that, at what it's costing people to do, like Amazon when it comes to the, you know, the Prime, they're eating that return shipping a lot of times, I think, if I remember right. So, but it's been so long, but they're noticing it, and Amazon actually sells a lot. That's the thing too, is Amazon actually has a lot of their own profits or products. eBay doesn't. I don't think eBay, it's as a corporation, actually sells on eBay. So uh, that's sort of, the chat went away. I can't see anything anybody said. There, it's back. There. If you offer free returns, you have the, I think you can just have them. I think you'll still get a message that'll say something, and you can probably just can't just read. You'll still get that thing, I think, where it says what do you want to do, you know, where it asks you what you know what you want to do, if you would just want to give them a refund or have them return it and pay the shipping label. So I think that's probably still in place. I don't know because I haven't had a return in a long time. So, oh yeah, Kathy says, yeah. Hopefully it does. Hopefully people aren't. We got to look at it. We got to hope that people aren't taking advantage. On the whole, there's always going to be some bad characters, and they're going to take advantage no matter what. They're just going to take advantage. So you know, those are the ones that need to be reported. The more they do it, hopefully they'll get kicked off the platform. You tell he's a big A, and his goal is not to list anything under. If it's a little stuff, he will lot it together until that would be that would be great if you have that the ability to just find things that you can see. I don't find that stuff that much. So I need to have things that are selling for less than that to bring. Hey, thanks, Darren. That's pretty cool. Um, I don't really find a lot of that stuff. So if I got to sell something for $10 or $15, I'll do it. I just listed some Hot Wheels cars today that I had around here that I paid nothing for. I listed them, and I listed them at like I think like $8 or something like that. But you know that's so yeah. I don't. I'd like to do that too. I'd like to get better items and just list higher items. But truth is that I just don't find them. So I do have the outlet now with the country trader where I have enough space over there that I can a lot of items that I can probably just put a few bucks on it and take it over there and people come they buy tons of that stuff over there. So I've done pretty good over there with that. So um and I don't care if the stuff gets stolen either. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. I do need to get security up just so that people don't again maybe it'll get rid of some of the bad players. So let's see. I have always had them on return it. That's yeah. It would be good to return it. To have them return it if it's something you want back, honestly. But if it's going to cost you money, I mean, more the money than what you can make out of it. I don't know if I'd want. I actually haven't. I've actually told people to keep stuff. So yeah, because that's exactly right, Cindy. People don't read the description. They look at the pics, but maybe not all of them. They just buy. So they just buy. So again, is it worth the stress? Is it worth the fretting over it and the negative way you feel about some scammer, and that ruins your attitude, and then maybe you don't want to list on eBay today because somebody's a jerk, and they just cost you money and all that stuff. It's just money. You'll make some more. You'll make more. Sell something else. Well, I appreciate that there, Jason, that you watch all my videos. That's pretty cool. If it's like small cars, just wait till yeah, these were there's little cars, little Hot Wheels cars. If I had a whole bunch of them, I would lot them up like that. But so these ones were they were 2000 mystery cars still in the package. So they sell a little better by themselves. I could sell them in a bunch, but I don't think I would have gotten that much of a better price for them. So it worked out to do it that way. So I hope it makes money. That's all. You get rid of my death piles. Well, that would be a much faster way to, and I have done that, gotten rid of death piles that way. I did, like I said before, I had a dealer show up here at one of my yard sales, and I ended up taking him in the basement and other places. You saw my basement in the one video. I had him go down there, and he bought like all my old slot car sets that I had down there and a bunch of other stuff, and he gave me a really good price, and I got him out of here. And yeah, I could have got more money for him selling them individually, but you know how it is. I got rid of a bunch of stuff at one shot. So, and maybe I'll do that. So there is a quicker way to get rid of death piles. Yeah, right to the dump. If they don't read the description, a wool blend sweater was sold that total. Yeah, it still got returned. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, that's the whole thing. But the whole thing is that they're gonna file an INAD on you. So free returns or not, they're gonna file INAD, and eBay's not getting involved in INAD anymore. So whether it's INAD or not is between you and the buyer. They're still gonna get their money back. Because eBay's not getting involved because they're just not dealing with it anymore. They just want, you know. Thank you, Daryl. That's very what's the word I'm looking for? That's very generous of you. I appreciate that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, when you go to Walmart, you buy something at Walmart and you take it back to Walmart. Yeah, you do have to take it back. So it doesn't cost Walmart any money for you to take it back. But at the same time, they don't even ask you. Well, when you bring it in, usually they might tell you what's wrong with it. But other than that, they just want your. It's like Sam used to say. Sam Walton started his. If y'all have not ever read Sam Walton's biography that he did, it's really interesting. It's very it's very enlightening on how he started the business and how what's Made in America or something like that. I don't know what it's called now anymore. I don't remember, but it was a really good book. But that was the thing. He went to Kmart one time and they gave him a hassle about returns, and he decided that he didn't ever want to have his customers go through something like that, you know. And so that's what he did. And Kmart's out of business pretty much, and Walmart's still killing it. So ask, of course they're not doing that returns like they used to do anymore, but then that's probably going to come back to bite them because Amazon is. So that's the thing. I have them return the item and put it out on the corner with free art. Yeah, you could do that, but then you're eating the money on the return. So the best thing is to write it off and take the loss. At least get some of your credit on your. That's true. You can get credit on your taxes for that loss. That's a good point, Darren. I hadn't even thought about that. That's a really good point. And see, that's what the big sellers are doing because they're a business. They're not they're not having an eBay yard sale. They're a business. And I think a lot of us eBayers who we're pretending that we're running a business, but we're not really running a business. We're just hobby sellers, you know, and maybe that's part of our maybe I think that's part of the problem is the bigger sellers, they're running a business and they're doing things the way a business would do things. And maybe that's the way we have to start looking at our own reselling is that we're in business and we want customers. If they're bad customers, they're bad customers. If you get somebody who's scamming you or returns something bad and you want to block them, go ahead and block them. But you know what? The next thing they buy from you might not they might not return it. They might actually want it. So it's I probably told you the story. I do tell stories over and over again. But one lady used to come to my yard sale every week. I used to have a yard sale every week before I lived here, and I lived somewhere else. And I'd have yard sales pretty much every week. And she came in every week and she bought stuff from me every week. She also stole from me. But you know what? I got stuff so cheap that usually whatever she stole typically was something I hadn't paid much for. And she's usually spent typically $15 to $30 a week at my yard sale. So, you know, from a business perspective, I didn't want to embarrass her. I didn't want to, not have her come back. I wanted her to keep coming because she was buying stuff. Yeah, she was stealing, but that's she got to look in the mirror and deal with that. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to think about is you can't control other people. You can't make people do right. So all you can do is I don't know if it's a good way of putting it, but hope that when they look in the mirror that you know that they're cursed with the fact that they're a thief. Maybe the conscience strikes them at some point and they decide that they're thieves. So um I don't know. That's as far as the scammers and people returning stuff goes. I just I let what eBay did years ago stop me from being as successful as I could have been because I let money get in the way. You know what I mean? I could have restructured my business to focus on things that, instead of having 5,000 books online, I could have just gotten rid of a lot of the books that were going to cost me a bunch of money and not bring that return. Had a big yard sale, maybe sold a bunch of them out, and which is what I did. I ended up having a yard sale with a bunch of them and taking the rest to recycling. So maybe that's something we have to consider. Oh no, she didn't. No, she would have. They probably would have been grandchildren. She was an older lady. Yeah, she just came by herself. So, and I don't know. I didn't know her personal story. She was pleasant though. She was pleasant, and nice. Sometimes she'd sit and talk to me. That's why it surprised me so much that she would. I think she was like had like a problem, like just like kleptomania. Because the one time she actually picked something up. It was a blender. It was it's a blender you buy at a yard sale for $5. She picked it up and she walked out of the yard sale with it, and she looked at me the whole time she was walking away. I don't know if she was expecting me to say something or what, but I didn't. I just and she was back the next, because it was I usually went Friday and Saturday, Friday night and Saturday, and sometimes on Sunday, and she would typically be there every day and spend money. So, and no, she didn't ever have any kids with her though, so maybe she didn't have any. I don't know. This guy we know walked into a Walmart, went back to the back of the store, picked up an expensive stereo, and returned it to the returns desk. They gave him $400 in store. Yep, that yeah. Now, if they catch you doing that now, though, they had them. I know I see it in the local First News Now. It's called on Facebook, and it covers my local area, and that's really the main news that I get for the local area is from there, and they're always talking about on their about Walmart catching people doing that, and they fry them. A lot of times they'll wait. They like have it on. They like have like multiple times that they have this person, and they get them, and when they get them, it's not little. They get them for big time stuff, and like lots of jail time kind of stuff. So they will fry people. So my iPhone's complaining it's not backed up. It's a good thing. So yeah, they do. They do. They do. They didn't used to when I actually worked at Walmart. They actually for a while, for a long time there, they didn't mess with shoplifters at all. They just let them go. And they told all the employees, if you see somebody shoplifting, tell management, but don't confront the person that's stealing. So I saw a customer one time. A guy picked up. I was in line, and a kid picked up a candy bar, opened up, started eating it. And the guy in front of him looked back and saw him, and he had a conniption fit right there in the line that this kid was stealing from Walmart by eating that candy bar. The Walmart didn't do anything. It's a candy bar. They didn't do anything, So I don't know. And I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing for our culture and our society, but kids are kids, you know. They do stupid things, and if I'd have gotten in trouble for all the stupid things I did, I got in trouble for quite a bit of them, but not all of them. So who knows? And then they get you with the felony charge. Yep, that's I think what's going on. What's been going on here is they get everybody on tape and they watch what they're doing, and they Starbucks allows them to let them go. My daughter was a manager there, and she was to ignore it. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Somebody, I don't know what they do at Starbucks. What they would, what are they gonna do? Steal their coffee? So the cost of prosecuting somebody or the cost of security might be more than what they lose in shrink from doing that. So yeah, I can see why they did. They just don't want to mess with them. And let's face reality. You go confronting a shoplifter in today's society, you might end up with a bullet hole in you. People, they it isn't even about them stealing. It's about you accusing them of it. It's about you're dissing them or whatever. Yeah, like I still pay for my stuff too. Yeah, that looking over your shoulder thing all the time worried would just be too much for me. You know. Yep, exactly. They lose money by shutting. Yep. That's the whole thing, and that's what we have to think about as eBay sellers. Do you really want to be on the phone with eBay for 2 hours over a $20 or $30? Now, a $2,000 item, that's another story. That's something that might be. Well, that didn't take long. Micronauts, Bolo, Micronaut, Micronaut, Micronaut. They're from the late 70s. They're these tiny little toys, look like really cheesy little robots. Look them up. And I had them when I was a kid. So I was a kid for a long time. I stayed a kid clear up into high school. So I love those little things. I think they got rid of them because I don't know, but I think they were recalled or something. They had a lot of little parts that kids could eat. But yeah, I just listed mine. I had two of them that were not in good shape that I found in a box of toys that was sitting here, for the last 6 months, and I don't know how long I've had them because I brought the box up from the basement. So I've probably had them since before I moved up here. So, but they're finally listed, and I'll get a bid. For there's only $7.99, but they were they're pretty shot, but some of them they're $50 and $60 for them things. I'm going through. I'm going. I had that one. I had that one. I had that one. I had that one. Yeah, yeah. Micronauts, pretty good. It's a pretty good thing to look up. So, yeah, I know. It's just it's not. It's even if you didn't pay for something. I mean, I'd look in the mirror. You thief. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I just wouldn't. So count lawsuits and yeah, they count lawsuits and deaths into their insurance and profits. Yeah, that's probably true. I wouldn't doubt that. I'm not at all familiar with corporate structure at that level, so I don't really know. That's out of my pay grade. So, but yeah. So I thanks.